Good morning, everybody. It's Luna Bell. Yo, I think one of the things I do with the trying to heal from the gang stalking is one trying to regulate. Thank you. It says top story that little drop down there, but it is the top story. Trying to regulate my nervous system, and sorry, y'all noticed it was 2-2 on the timer. Y'all, the pattern recognitions. And I'm being reminded of what my nurse practitioner said to me the last time I saw her. And she said, You see fraud everywhere. And I was like, Yeah, I do now. And y'all, I was thinking about the differences in me now compared to 4 years ago. March March 14th will be 4 years since I lost my late husband, 101 on the timer. And y'all, I told someone, let's go ahead and do this, 111 on the timer. Someone was talking, she and I were talking, and she's been married for a good bit too, I guess. Anyway, but she thinks about her husband the way I thought about mine. My husband and my children, my home, was my world. They were my everything. Even my career, I gave up for my husband and my children. Even my career, and y'all, I was a nurse, was something my late husband held against me with the abuse, okay? And that lady and she and I were talking about the devotion and the love that we had. She said, I can't imagine my life without my husband. I couldn't either, y'all. And it was devastating when I lost him. I also told this lady that, many times a traumatic event such as losing a loved one will trigger a spiritual awakening. Y'all, spiritual awakenings are very much needed for all of us, y'all. Truly is, but y'all, mine was weaponized against me, as was my ignorance. People in my family who themselves are witches started yelling and saying that I was, and y'all, I was honestly just then in the very beginning of trying to find out exactly who and what I was and what I was experiencing with I'm sorry, y'all, I'm noticing the shadow of the wings, a newly reawakened psychic medium. Y'all, I was having past life memories. I was having, flashbacks of the present or the recent past, and I was desperately trying to understand what I was experiencing with my gift. It's one of the reasons I looked out in my local community for groups in spirituality, witchcraft, or whatever. It didn't matter, paganism. I wanted to learn and understand what I was experiencing in my gift. That was further weaponized against me with my ignorance because of people's ego. 355. Their intent may have been well placed, but this is where I began to see the darker side of the spiritual community. I will not label people or place, say this one's good or that one's bad, or I see the light and the shadow in all of us. I see the light and the shadow within myself now. 422. I don't excuse people's behavior, nor do I excuse my own. I choose to learn from it. I can't account for other people and why they're triggered themselves, only my own. And here we circle back, 444 on my timer, back to regulating my nervous system. I mentioned in a previous post that the last 2.5 months I have felt the pressure of being targeted by my gang stalkers, which includes family, not only my mama and my siblings, but children as well, and their many friends from I don't know how many years. And then it further involved people in my community within the spiritual realm who contributed because they themselves were triggered. But also, the more I got to know people, the more I grew in my own gift because I am telepathic and because I am that psychic medium. But more than that, I'm an empath, an extremely sensitive one. But I pick up all the details. I pick up maps, I pick up routes, I pick up riverways, waterways, underground facilities, underground rivers, entrances, waterfalls, hidden caves, hidden networks, hidden corruption, hidden lies. People don't like that, especially because when you start to see it, and you realize the truth of it yourself, you can't unsee that. And I won't remain silent. So that has proven to be nearly 4 years of extreme torture. And that's exactly what it is. Torture of the individual. Because others themselves are triggered by their own fears and lack mentality. The darker side of our shadow, the darker side of our ego or our personality, if you would, 7-Eleven on my timer. People always like to say that you can't do something until you show it to them that you can. But more than that, it's better still when you prove to yourself that you can do that and more. When you prove yourself wrong and you prove yourself right more and more. When you stop going, I'm going to prove myself wrong, you're going to start going, I believe in the impossible. I've done the impossible. I've done the things they say are impossible. Y'all, I'm sorry, I'm a little weak and I ain't putting much into it. But you get my point. I've grown so much. I've cried many tears. Still do. But I choose to empower myself in my tears. Whatever it is I feel, or whatever it is I experience. I choose to use my energy, my magic, my gifts, my abilities to transmute for my betterment, for my healing, for whatever it is I need, for my Garden of Eden that's right here. When you realize that the impossible is possible, they can't take that from you. Ain't nobody ever going to say, I didn't do it, because I did. But I showed myself more than anybody. Showed myself that I am possible, that I am worthy, that I am love. I'm worthy of it too. Many blessings.